And welcome back to another Paul's Aquariums video. Okay, it has honestly been around about 20 years or so since we've done really any marine stuff, but we're getting back into reef tanks. I know, crazy but true. These things, this is a fleece filter. It sort of works as a pre-filter or a polishing thing for your tank, sort of like what a filter sock does, but this is an electronic version. Apparently it has sensors and all sorts of stuff. We're going to go through what it is, going to assemble it and see how it works in this video. 20 years ago these things did not exist. I'm pretty sure they've been around for the last 5 if not 10 years. Don't quote me on that, but I have never seen them before. They come with weird rolls of toilet paper that you can buy separately. I think these are like a 40-meter long roll of fleece, and the whole idea with them is you have water pump up from the bottom, and then that fills this little chamber here, and then it goes back into the sump of your aquarium. And as the water goes through the fleece, it will clog, the water level will keep going up, and there's a little sensor, I'm pretty sure, up the top that will automatically tell you when the water is there. It will beep, this will rotate, and then the new fleece will go through and the water level will come back down. And that's how it all picks up the bits and pieces, detritus and all sorts of stuff out of your tank. I'm sure you can use them in freshwater as well. I don't see why not. Obviously, these are around about $30 a roll Australian, so if you go through a lot of these, it's going to be quite expensive. From what I'm aware, in a standard tank that's not overly messy or anything like that, because we're talking about reef tanks, not big American cichlids and freshwater fish, it would probably last a couple of months, so between a month and a half and 2 months from what I'm aware. This thing is not cheap. Australian dollars, this retails for around about $500, which seems like a lot for what it is, but saying that, I have not opened it yet, and I don't know how cool it is. It could be immensely cool, so the coolness factor could outweigh the price of it. I know, we're having fun with marine tanks. What we're going to do now is open it and see all the bits and pieces you get in the box. I'm going to move those because these are extra rolls, but I'm pretty sure you get a roll in there. Let's jump to that. And in the box you get the roller, which is pretty much all set up. Apparently the models 1 and 2, I think this is Gen 3, didn't really have it all set up and you had to do that sort of stuff. So lucky we've got the newer models so we don't have to stuff around with that. You do get a roll of fleece, so that is good. And you get 2 more boxes. So whatever is in these boxes, oh, there's a lot of pipes and bits and pieces. That's what we want. Fancy little bit there. Instructions, assembly guide, that is good. And what else have we got? I think these are the brackets that go on the side of the sump, and I think those are the side bits that go on the side, I'm guessing. So this must be, that is the motor, and I'm guessing this little bit here will be the transformer. Looks like it, or a controller, or both. Oh, one-handed, I know. There is a little controller. Oh, it's got an alarm button, so I guess you can turn the alarm on and off. I'm pretty sure the alarm goes when the fleece is run out. Don't quote me on that. If it is, I will have it written on the screen. If not, we may never know. And it looks like, oh, okay, you just got 2 buttons. You got alarm on off, and you have the motor on off. That's pretty straightforward. And that's obviously just in line. And you get a whole lot of different little connectors to connect onto the transformer depending on what country you live in. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. And that's just a normal little, 2 plugs, little screwy plugs. So this bit, oh, can we get this out with one hand? There it is. That is the water sensor. Okay, so the black plug is the water sensor that plugs into that. And then the red will just be the power going into the actual motor. Can we get the motor out? Oh, it's got weird sleeve, one-handed. Okay, that is the motor, which is pretty heavy. Okay, didn't expect it to be heavy, but we are paying for a $500 motor. That just seems to be a rotatey thing. Yeah, okay, that's pretty straightforward. So what we're going to do now, if we can get it back in its sleeve, kind of didn't, kind of did. Yep, nothing else left in that box. I can go on the floor. These are our bits and pieces. An O-ring and some little tiny giblet bits. Whole lot of plastic bits. That is all in there. Okay, so now we've got all our bits and pieces. We're going to read the instructions. I know, because we don't want to stuff it up, and I've never had one of these before. I think it's pretty straightforward though. Oh, look. Oh, it doesn't even use words. How great are instructions like that? It's just a picture book. Oh, see? That's awesome. That's very universal. Look at the pretty colors. So $500 filters get you pretty colored brooches. So that's great. Okay, we're gonna come back after doing all that and see what it looks like. So it occurred to me that you would probably want to watch me actually set it up because you're watching a video on it getting set up. So if you can't look at photos and copy that, at least you can watch this. So we've got our unit there, we have our fleece. Apparently there's a little taggy bit to the fleece. Now this is going to be awkward one-handed, but apparently you just need to drape it like that, push it in. I don't know how much of it you need over. They've shown a little bit more than me, so I don't know if that makes any difference or not, but because we've never used one of these before, we're just going to pretty much copy the instructions the way that we should. So that goes down like that. Then there are, where are we? Two little pipey bits, which are these bits, the nibs. They go in here. I think there's two different lots. There's the bit with the rollery bit, and I'm pretty sure those bits will sit in there like that, maybe. Yeah, I think they sit in there. So these little bits go down the bottom, and then there's two little screw holes there that we're going to just screw these little bits in. So let me screw those in and come back. And that was pretty straightforward. So we've got two on each side, so there's four altogether. Then we've got this little nibby thing, which I'm guessing is something to adjust the water flow or something like that, but that goes in the back there, which is probably going to be the front. I'm not entirely sure which is the front and which is the back of this thing, or if it even matters, but we are twisting it in there. Oh my goodness. Okay, the knobby bit's in, and now it is telling me to put these bits up here. So I think they just sit like that, and then we screw in our four screws, so two on each side. Let's do that. Well, so far it seems very, very easy. We've got them screwed in. Now we're up to 13, which is the nibby bit. And the nibby bit is the bit that goes obviously through these holes here. And then your pipe connects to that, and that's what pumps the water up. So yeah, all we need is that bit and the O-ring. And the O-ring just goes over that. This is one-handed again. Oh, there we go. Funny they teach you this at school. Wouldn't that be fun, everyone? Okay, that is in. That's going to obviously stop the water from siphoning out that hole. Does it matter which way it goes? I don't know. It doesn't really show me which way it's going. Oh, it does. Okay, so number 16 means that this is around the other side, so we're just going to swap this around. And we have swapped around, and that is through there. And then this bit is just a standard screw-in fitting that is going to screw into there. And then our pipe will go into that. That'll pump the water up there. So let's screw that bit in. It's starting to look like a fancy toilet paper holder if I've ever seen one. So now we have our little doohickey that tells us when the water level is up. So apparently we connect that to this bit, so I'll have to unscrew all that onto that, and then that hooks on the top. So it's pretty much just screwed onto that little bit there. There's a little tiny bit cut out that you can just slot that in, and from what I'm aware, it just goes through that nice little cutout there. Turn that around. There is a little tiny groove and a little hole. That sits in like that. And that just sits out like that. So that seems to be the little float valve. So as the water level comes up, that will knock that, and then that'll stop that from doing its thing. Oh, and actually, silly me, it actually slides over, so it's in the middle. Oh, that makes even more sense, doesn't it? Well, that's a perfect snug fit. That's very, very fancy. Check that out. Okay, and then that'll just come up like that, and that will flick the little sensory bit, and then that'll rotate the thing. So now that we've done that bit, apparently you have to cut a little bit of the fleece and then you wrap it around the motor part. Okay, great. We probably need better instructions than that. Oh, wait. Ha ha ha. See? No. 16, 17, 20. It just says cut the fleece and then shove the fleece in the gap bit. You know we're going to stuff this up. Okay, so apparently you cut a little square out. That's a bit more of a rectangle. The motor unit, you unscrew that little bit there, and I think that just slots, should just slot down in there. Ah, if that little bit comes out. Does it go through the top or the bottom? Through the top. Okay, so that little bit of wire goes up the top. Now, apparently it clips in through this, so pretty sure you just slide it underneath. Ah, that's why. You slide it underneath this little plastic sleeve, and then that little bit's going to be sticking out. So, okay, it just hooks in like that. This little bit sits on there. That seems to be the right way so far. Now the next bit in the instructions say to use this bit and put it through the roll, and then that just hooks onto that. That seems pretty straightforward. Let's give that a go. Well, that was relatively easy. It just slots into place. And now apparently we have to open this up. These are the two side panels, and it looks like the side panels just slot in each side. Obviously, I'm guessing they stop water from gushing out and going everywhere, so it hits the panel and then goes down. And then we've got our two little hook-on bits, which are those two bits there, which is going to hook it onto the side of the sump. So, going to assemble that. Well, I must admit that was incredibly easy. So these little bits just slot in. These bits are quite awesome. There's a little slot in the side and it just pushes in. So yeah, and obviously that stops the water from splashing out. It'll just go straight back into the sump. These little bits are held together with these little black nubs. And then all we have to do is plug this into this. So obviously the red into the red and the black into the black. Then we're going to turn it on and hopefully it will just spin through. Hopefully. These little white bits here as well, I think these are just a tool for pretty much taking that little bit out of the nib. So I'm pretty sure they just all slot in together. Again, trying this one-handed, like that. So it's just a tool, apparently you put that down and yeah, put the thing over that and that just pulls it off the thing, which is what that is. There we go, so that's just a cleaning tool. Let's plug it in and see if it beeps at us. Well, as soon as I plugged it in, it went beep, 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 which was incredibly quiet, by the way. So hopefully alarm's a lot louder than that. Once we push the alarm button, nothing. Okay, motor. Oh. Okay, I don't know if it's doing it right. Have I actually stuffed it up? Oh no, it's just very slow. I don't know why I was expecting it to go really, really fast, but okay, that works fine. Oh, it's on it. It's actually quite firm. I don't know, I was just expecting it to be faster for some reason, but it kind of makes sense that it wouldn't be faster. I think we've assembled it. There we go. Okay, for someone that has not done marine for like 20 years, apart from obviously my Queensland groper and stuff, but no live corals, well, apart from one live coral that we've had, yeah, it seems to be all assembled. Let's stick it in our sump and see what it looks like. Let's jump to that. So this sump is still just fresh water at the moment. I still have to hook up a chiller to it, the UV, a whole lot of other bits and pieces, but it's just going to sit like that. As the water level rises, that will trigger that little tiny sensor, the blue bit, and then that will actually rotate the two rolls. Yeah, and that is pretty much the way that they work. So they're designed to replace your filter socks, so you don't have to keep replacing filter socks. So ideally you want the water going through that first. I'm not too sure how we're going to rig this one up yet, but you'll see in future videos. This is just a basic marine tank, so we're actually just going to use cheaper lighting for this, and it's just going to have LPS Pretty simple setup, but yeah, we will see how we go. Anyway, if you did enjoy this video, click the thumbs up so I know. If you want more sort of beginner setups on all these filters, if you're just getting into marine, click, yeah, subscribe and stuff, because yeah, it's been a good 20 years and they didn't have any of these things back then. Obviously they had protein skimmers and stuff like that, but yeah, there's a whole lot of awesome new products that we're going to review and set up. So there we go. There was a Clarisea 5000 something rather fancy toilet roll holder. Hoorah. We will see you in the next video.